Hey, it's Carl from artofshred.com, and welcome to part 2 of the Classic Vibe, or the Squier Classic Vibe 60s Jazzmaster review. Now, this part of the video is kind of less of a review and more just showing what I did as far as a setup. If you want to see the main review and my thoughts on this guitar, video 1 is in the description, or a link to video 1 is in the description. So, as far as this guitar, what did I do? Let me get my trusty checklist in no particular order, but I removed the neck and added a 0.5 degree shim, which gives the guitar a little bit more of a break angle. And I talk more about that in the first video. So this video, honestly, if you haven't watched the first video, some of the things here might not make sense, so watch the first video. I removed the pickguard to check the shielding. Shielding was all fine, so I didn't do anything with that. Removed all the plastic on the pickguard and the hardware, which was surprisingly more difficult than I think it should be. Cleaned up all the glue on the fretboard with a razor blade. As I talked about in video 1, it came from the factory less than stellar. There was glue all over the fretboard. Anyway, so cleaned that up. I polished all the frets in 9 grits from 1500 to 12,000 using micro mesh pads. And it plays so buttery smooth now, it's phenomenal. Cleaned and oiled the fretboard with lemon oil, very simple, standard. I added balanced tension strings. Now, a lot of people recommend jazz strings, flat wound strings, but I didn't want to go with that. I went with these balanced tension strings, and I like them a lot, so I think that was a good choice. They are 10s, so they're slightly thicker than what it arrives with from the factory, which are 9s, and yeah, really nice strings. I had to adjust the truss rod a little bit, probably because of the tension of the strings. It was just, there was slight bowing once I tuned it up, so did that. Set the string height to just a little bit below 2 millimeters. So again, I talked about that in video 1, had to raise the bridge to do that. Very simple, takes a little bit of time and patience. And of course, had to raise the pickups as well, because raise the strings, you got to raise the pickups, or you're just not going to get as nice of an output with your pickups. And then last, I intonated the guitar. And intonation sounds kind of scary, but it's really easy to do. So there's about a 3 or 4 minute portion of this video towards the end where I intonate this guitar, show you how to do it. Again, very simple, just takes a little bit of time, and you need a tuner. But you probably have a tuner, so no worries there. And that's about it. I will say in video 1, I made a drastic error by not using a fuzz pedal during the sound demo. So I remedied that this time. The backing track to the upcoming setup portion of this video is recorded with this guitar on the rhythm circuit, meaning the switch is up with a fuzz pedal, and these guitars just sound so good with fuzz, so you'll hear some of that. And yeah, I really, again, to kind of reiterate from the first video, really like this guitar. It plays really well. Do I think the setup things like the shim are necessary? Just like I mentioned in the first video, no. Do I think it plays well now? It plays phenomenally. So again, I really like it. With all of that said, let's get to the setup. So I've done almost everything to this guitar. I polished the frets, put in a shim, adjusted the string height, almost everything. Last step, oh, I also had to adjust the truss rod a little bit because I put on heavier gauge strings and it was bowing just a tad. So last thing is setting intonation. Now on these it's a little bit annoying because the saddle screws are right under the strings. So that makes it a little bit annoying, but setting intonation sounds scary. It's easy. Basically, tune your guitar. So we'll start with the low E. And once you've got it tuned, fret it at the 12th fret. So what you want is the open string and fretting at the 12th fret to both be pretty much spot on with your tuner. Now, I had already done the low E just to show, demonstrate what a properly intonated string is like. So let's do the A. So as you can see, it's slightly sharp. So what we need to do is move the saddle back. If it was flat, you would want the saddle moved towards the pickups. So what we're going to do is take our trusty screwdriver, and what I have to do here is basically loosen the A string and get it off the saddle. Because unfortunately the screw to adjust the saddle is right under the string, so it's very difficult to get to. All right, so again, we need to move the A string saddle away from the pickup because fretting at the 12th fret is slightly sharp. So we'll screw this a few times. Move the string back here, tune it back up. All right, so it's still a little bit sharp. Actually, I'm going to try to do it without removing the string here. Just take the, no, that's not going to work. All right. All right, so it's almost there. And that might be as good as we can get it. And that's just the name of the game with intonation. There's a little bit still I can move it, so I'm going to do that. And there we go. We're pretty much perfect now. So you basically have to do that for the rest of the strings. It's easy enough, just takes a little bit of time, some patience, and you're good to go. All right, so there we have it, the Squier Classic Vibe 60s Jazzmaster. Really nice guitar. As I mentioned in video 1, I don't think it's a beginner's guitar. I don't think it should be your first guitar. But if you're looking for a Jazzmaster, I really think the Classic Vibe 60s is a great version. And that's, I mean, what else can I say? It's a fun guitar to play. Sounds really good. What more do you need? So, that all said, if you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel and all that fun stuff, and I will see you next time.
I don't know that one.
Alexa, shut up. I'll see you next time.